Hi everyone, and welcome to our new TV channel, the Global Psychic and Healer TV. I'm Karen Brulé, I'm a psychic therapist, and on this new adventure, I'm going to be the assistant producer and the main interviewer. On this channel, you're going to be able to see some interview of very gifted psychic and healer. We're going to also do some free reading, not now at the moment, we're going to do just like introduction of our TV. And today, I'm very pleased to welcome the producer of this TV show. She's the founder of the American, Canadian, and UK Association of Psychic and Healer. She's a medium, she's a psychic. I'm very pleased to welcome Rosemary, the psychic lady. Hello, Rosemary.
Hi there, I'm Rosemary the Celtic lady, and thank you, Karen, for doing this for me today. And today we're going to talk a little bit about the organization, Global Psychics and Healers. And I'm going to talk a little bit about why I'm here, why I'm doing this, and why we're doing this first interview. As Karen knows, I've been talking with Karen a little bit about different things that I do. I'm an internationally known psychic medium. I'm also medical intuitive, and I'm founder of the American, Canadian, UK Association of Psychics and Healers. And that organization has now been around since 1998. It's pretty much becoming an amazing organization. It's not just an organization, it's an association, it's also a directory. And it's gone global now. We have a global Psychics and Healers app where we have people on board now from the UK, the USA, Canada, and Asia. And I've now got a couple of people coming on from Australia and coming on from New Zealand. So this is, to me, this is very exciting because it's been my dream. It's been my dream for years to really, truly bring together all of the light workers globally throughout the world, and to show people out there that there's also that we're not hotline psychics, not a hotline organization. There's a difference between us and the hotline organizations. And I've worked really, really hard over the years to build the reputation of the organization and just get it to a point where everyone understands that we are professionals, we're professional consultants, and that we're very good at what we do, and not to label us with the hotline psychics. I really have done my utmost to separate us from them. And slowly but surely our reputation is built over the years. The first website went up in 2002. So we have, between all the organizations, 7 websites and 1 global app that pulls everybody together. So like I say, Karen, I'm really excited about it. So thank you for interviewing me today so I can talk about it.
Yeah, I'm pleased to contribute to this new media for us. And I would like to know that maybe that will interest people. How do you select the people to get into the association?
Well, with the organization, what I'm trying to do is, well, I interview people and I interview them personally. I don't let just anybody come into the organization. And people tell me I'm pretty picky and pretty choosy. Well, I think you have to be this day and age. There's so many people out there just ripping people off, and I really have an issue with that, you know. So right now we go through criminal background checks for everybody to come on board. So at least the members that are on board know they're on an organization or part of an organization where we've done criminal background checks on people. And then the people that are calling are members in the organization. They're doing direct communication with the people in the organization. They don't go through us, they don't go through other people, like hooking them up on the telephone line saying, okay, let me put you on to this person. And everybody's just a consultant on their own right. They're just members of the organization, members of the association, and they get the calls direct going straight to their homes or to their offices. And they don't read for people instantly right away. That's one thing I kind of frown upon as well. No one can sit down and read for someone instantly right away. Maybe you can, but you're not in a space, you're not in a safe space to do it. And I'm a great believer that when you're reading for someone, that person's in a safe space, and so are you, so that you can actually, so that you can tune into the other side and give correct and accurate information to them. If a person's driving a car down the street, down the road, and you try to read to them, that's dangerous, not only for them, but dangerous for you as well. Yeah. So I always like to prepare for all of my sessions beforehand. And I usually prepare days beforehand, you know,
yeah.
so.
Yeah. So what is for you like the best quality, the good quality that every psychic should have? What is the best quality for you?
For me, I believe people that are in the intuitive work or the alternative healing, whatever, I think it all comes down to work ethics, credibility, you know, and just really knowing how to treat another human being. You know what I mean? Don't do unto others as you have a different, so to speak. You know, it's just, I'm a great believer in karma. You know, you do something negative to something, it's got to come back at you. So I really very kind of thorough with the people that come on board my organization. I want them to have personality. And, you know, to be honest, taking good care of their bodies as well, taking care of themselves. I am a great believer, healer especially, that you shouldn't be working on people if you can't heal yourself and you can't make yourself well. That's really important to me, being the founder of the American, Canadian, UK Association of Healers, because I'm like, there are people out there that are working on people they should not be working on people, you know, and it just drives me nuts when I see it, when I go to some of these big conventions and I'm seeing people that I know that are ill. I just need to look at their body because I'm a medical intuitive, and I can see a lot of what I call a lot of crap going on in their bodies. And people will tell me I'm pretty brutal and straight to the point and pretty honest. So I'm going to say as it is, you know. And so I when I go to these events and I look around me and I go, why are these people working on people when they've got to go home and work on their own stuff, you know? But some people just get so desperate, I guess, sometimes, and they just feel that they need to do that, you know? So for me, it's all about living a clean life, good, clean living, eating right, eating healthy, taking care of yourself, working out, and then clearing your energy field on a daily basis. A lot of mediums out there don't do that. A lot of psychics don't do it. A lot of healers don't do it. And I teach workshops all over the world. And I have people come to me, and the simplest and easiest thing to do is just clearing your energy field on a daily basis. If you do that every day, twice a day, you won't get sick. I never get sick now. You know what I mean?
All right. Oh, wow. It's like, do you have this kind of small kind of advice about how you clean your energy field?
Absolutely, you know, and this is stuff just so you guys know out there. I'm going to start putting some more videos out and teaching this avenue, and I'm sure Karen is going to do the same, because I would really like for Karen to do that, for her to share her stuff with people as well. My thing's falling down here. And the things you do on live TV, you got to be natural as you possibly can. Anyway, for me, I get up in the morning. The first thing I do is I get in the shower, I stand under the shower, I brush from my crown down my body, and I breathe out. And as I'm breathing out, I pull that energy into my lifeline, which is where the navel is, where your belly button, you know, and that's where your lifeline, and also where your timeline is. They're intertwined. And what happens is when you clear that energy, you pull it down into there, and you visualize pulling from your feet into your lifeline, and then you gather it. You can go in and clockwise, gather it, pull it out, breathe it out, and release it to the universe with love and light. Then what I do after that is I send light through my body, and I just say, I am light, I'm one with the light is within me. I am light, I'm one with the light is within me. And I repeat that 3 times, and really, I feel it. The minute I open my eyes, the room looks brighter to me. Everything looks sparkly. And a good way to test yourself is pick up a towel that you used the day before, maybe, and touch yourself with the towel and brush down your arm. I mean, you brush down your arm. If you're feeling itchy or you're feeling like you've just been contaminated, then you did a really good job of clearing yourself. You've just now got to go clear that towel. So then what I do, lift the energy of my towel again, get myself back in the shower, do a quick scrub down, send light through my body again, then touch myself with the towel again, and it should feel like you're not contaminated anymore. So you can shift the vibration.
Yeah, cool. See, that's very interesting. I did not know about this visualization. I'm quite interested about to know how it did begin for you. You know, when did you realize that you have some psychic ability, or you were a bit like a special perception? Is it something in your family or something that come spontaneously just for you and your family?
You know, it's definitely something I've had ever since I was a child. Ever since I was about 6 or 7 years old, I knew I was different. You know, I really knew I was different. I remember many a time looking out the window and going, "Get me the heck out of here!" You know, why would you put me with this family? You know, and
Oh
just knowing that I
wow.
didn't. But my mother was very psychic, and my father was very much a healer as well. Although my dad never really did much with his healing abilities, but my mum used to read for people, you know.
Oh,
So I kind of grew up in
oh
that
wow,
environment.
okay.
And pretty
All
much
right.
on my father's side of the family, all my cousins are all psychic. They're all intuitive, but none of them do it. Well, I think one cousin does this, you know, as part-time occupation. She doesn't do it full-time, but this is my full-time occupation. I knew at 7 years old that I needed to come to the States to do my work. I
Oh wow.
knew. It's crazy, you know, I just knew.
Oh wow. And when did you start professionally to do some reading?
I think I started professionally doing some readings when I was in my early 20s, when I was about 23, 24.
All right.
And I kind of do it every now and again. And then what happened was when I got into the 24, I came to the States for the first time. I was here for 3 years, and I went back to Scotland for 5 years. I couldn't settle back in Scotland again. So then I came back to the States, and I came back here in 1994. And I made a pact to myself when I came back here in 1994 that I was really going to step into my spiritual work full time. And that's what I did. So I stepped into it in 96 full time, and I've been doing it full time ever since. Now, before I got here, I was working in the hotel and catering industry. My background, my training, my degree, and everything is working in hotels.
All
And I
right.
really believe, yeah, I believe that everything that I learned there prepared me for what I'm doing now, you know, interacting with people on a daily basis, talking to
Mm.
people, getting to know their stories and their conversations and things, you know. The strangest thing is now I'm more reclusive. I don't like being around a lot of people all the time now
Oh.
because I have so much coming at me all
Mm.
of the time. So I live in the mountains, and
Mm.
I'm here for a reason because I like to be away from everybody, you know.
Oh
I
wow.
see people when I really need to and it's really necessary, you know.
Yeah. So I would like to know, when you mentioned that you receive a lot of things all the time, are you talking about physical reality or also like some more like subtle energy? And how do you perceive, how does your guide or your intuition is coming to you?
Okay, so I have a guy called Joshua, and he's been with me ever since I was a child.
Oh
Um, the
wow.
thir- I'm the 13th child of, my mother had 13 children, but
Wow.
12 of them passed. 12 of them were miscarriages, they all died, so I was the 13th. So kind of I see number 13 is a lucky number for me. And I feel my guide Joshua's been with me ever since I've pretty much been a child. I've had 3 near-death experiences. I've had many close calls, and that could be a whole story itself and a whole show
Mm.
itself, just talking about my near-death experiences and all this other stuff. But I believe that everything that I've learned over the years growing up, and just all the things that have happened to me, that there was no coincidence as to the reason why I'm still here on this earth plane. I'm still here because Spirit wants me to do my work. I'm also an ambassador for peace with the Universal Peace Federation as well. And I actually want to be doing more work with that. I actually want to get to a point where I'm pulling away from doing more of the readings and doing more of the international stuff now. I still want to have my organization, let that grow and be the face of the organization. And God forbid anything ever happens to me, just so you folks out there know it, this organization will keep going. It will still keep
Yeah.
going even after I'm gone, because I people lined up to take over the organization if anything ever happens to me, because I feel we have to set ourselves apart from the others. And that's why we have the American, Canadian, UK Association of Psychics and Healers, and now Global Psychics and Healers. That's the mothership, so to speak. We all come underneath the mothership. And it's kind of cool. And my guide Josh was the one that told me I needed to do this. He's been the one that's been guiding me all of my life. And you said, um, when I get things coming at me, it doesn't matter where I go. I could go into a grocery store, I can, you know, go to a restaurant and sit down, and I'm already picking up people's pain from their bodies.
Mm.
And we can protect ourselves to a certain degree. Everybody can protect themselves to a certain degree, but none of us are invincible. And
Mm.
that's a mistake that a lot of healers out there make. They think they're invincible. Oh, I do a white light and a prayer of protection around myself, I'm okay. that's not enough. It's being aware that when you go into an environment, you know that that energy is there and going, okay, I'm seeing this energy here. As soon as I'm out of here, I'm home and I'm in the shower and I shift my energy right away. And when we're doing this kind of work, we're open to anything coming in, attachments as well. So you've got to keep your vibration up all of the time. And I work on keeping my vibration up every single day. You know, there's some days I might slip, you know what I mean? We all slip, but I would say 9 times out of 10, I'm pretty much up there all of the time. And the days that I slip, I can tell you, I feel it, I know it, I sense it. And I always say whenever I do spirit talk when I'm on stage and I'm bringing through messages from loved ones that passed over, and then afterwards I might go have a glass of wine when I'm done and I'm sitting down having dinner, and people come in and afterwards into the restaurant and go, oh, you brought through my mom or my dad, and can we discuss some more? And I'm like, I'm sorry, I've just took a sip of wine. I never mix spirit with spirit. It's one of the things that I never do. I never ever bring spirit through my body if I've just had even the smallest tiny little sip of wine, because what you're doing is you're then distorting that energy field, and you're also opening yourself up to inviting in negative entities that can attach to you. And at some point I want to start doing, with this show especially, I want this to be an educational show. Global Psychics and Healers TV, I want to educate the public, the do's and the don'ts of what not to do. The do's and the don'ts of when you go to hotels, and how to clear your space, how to set the space to match your energy field. I also want to teach people, don't run around with these little devices that open up portholes all over the damn planet, because there's these people that are using these devices, and I'll use the Stanley Hotel here as an example. Ghostbusters up here running around, and they're opening up all these portals, and everybody's drinking. They're all drinking alcohol when they're doing it. Then they're walking away from that building with attachments attached to them. So it's educating people to understand that there are dangers out there when you do this stuff, and you got to be aware of that. You got to be on top of it, on top of your game, and know what's coming at you, and knowing how to deal with it, and knowing how to keep it away from you, you know? So that's the stuff that I teach on a daily basis. And you probably teach it as well.
Oh yeah. Well, I've got some approach. Like I'm also quite sensitive, like to the energy, and as you said, it's like at the moment that I pick it, I need to pay attention to this kind of energy, because otherwise that induces, you know, a series of like, oh, it's going wrong and it's going worse and worse during the day. So I've got the tendency also to pay quite quickly attention when something like a bit like bizarre or strange or a bit negative is starting to take me on somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not easy being empathic and being a healer. And you know, I teach a lot to the younger generation that's coming up now, you know, the young indigos that are out there, and they're so gifted, they're so psychic, and they start off at a very young age. And a lot of the parents don't understand. They don't get that their kids are gifted or intuitive, and they go, you know, they start putting the kids on all sorts of drugs and everything else because they think the kids are seeing things or hearing things. And I have an issue with that. I'll be honest with you. I have an issue with it. I have an issue that people just automatically label things all of the time and say, oh, well, my kid is bouncing off the wall, so he's got to be ADD. And I had an incident one time when I was in, I was in Michigan, and it was this big conference with about 5,000 women, and it was out and we were camping out. And the grandmother brought her granddaughter to me, and she said, Rosemary, my granddaughter, they're trying to diagnose my granddaughter with Parkinson's disease. I went, you got to be kidding me. She's what, 12 years old? That's not possible. And I was just like feeling it wasn't that. And they had just put her on meds that week. And normally I've never said to anybody, you know, take your kid off meds or whatever. I'm like, no, there's something wrong with this here. So anyway, I went with the little girl. We laid down on the ground, literally in the grass. You know, it was a beautiful day. We're laying out there and everybody's sitting around in a circle. And I said to her, put your hands on the ground and breathe out about 20 times. Send all that energy in your body into the ground. And just breathed it all out of her body, sent it into the ground. And she quit pinging off the ceilings, you know? So I think when it comes down to a lot of these kids are just empathic. They're healers. They take in that energy from everybody else around them. So here's a good bit of advice to you moms and dads out there. Here's what to do when your kids come home from school. Don't go, okay, you have got to go do your homework. Just say, shower first, then your dinner, and then sit down and do your homework. The reason being the shower will clear their energy fields. they'll quit pinging off the ceilings, or they'll be less drained as well, because sometimes if they're sitting in a classroom, some get really drained, some just start pinging. And it really depends on your kid. And if they're feeling that drained, then what you need to do is get them in the shower, clear their energy field, then feed them, bring that energy back up again, feed the brain. And once after they've eaten dinner, then have them do their homework, and your kids will have better grades. Because I know my kid does. My kid is like, cannot go to bed without having a shower. Sometimes my kid will have 3 showers a day. And for those of you moms that keep complaining about the water bills going up, quit complaining, because honestly, you're going to have the best kid you could ever have if your kid's in the water all the more. I think water plays a big part in the clearing for them and the cleansing for them, and it makes them feel really good, and it takes that energy out of their bodies. And then as they get older, then you can teach them how to send light through the body. Now do a little prayer. Now release some of this energy from your body. I've been teaching my kids since my kid was 3 years old. My kid's a master at it now, you know.
Yeah, it's a great idea. Honestly, I feel how much a shower it's relaxing me, and I love the advice that you just gave about put your child in the shower just before, just when you arrive from school. That that makes so much sense about the release of the negative energy and the relaxation. That makes a lot of sense to me. And it seems you're involved in a lot of activity. So you mentioned that you're doing like public mediumship. Could you tell us a bit more about this kind of channeling and how it did come to you? I guess it was not the first thing that did come to you.
No, I think the first time it came to me when I was like about 7, and I went to my Aunt Daisy's funeral, and it was really funny because it was in Scotland, and I was walking up the stairs with my mom and my dad, and I remember saying to my mom, "Mom, Auntie Daisy's not dead. Look, she's standing at the top of the stairs." And my mom's like, "Shh, don't tell anybody you saw her." And I was like, "Well, why not? She's alive, she's alive." And my dad was getting upset because my dad's like, "Tell her to be quiet, tell her to be quiet." So we go in, I go in, we go into my grandmother's apartment, because I think my Aunt Daisy used to live in my grandmother's house then. And I remember going in, and everybody's going into the room to pay their respects. And I go into the room, and she's got the white sheet up to like here. And I walk in, and I'm like, "Wow, I just saw you standing at the top of the stairs. Why are you laying down in the bed?" And then I realized she was dead. So I kind of sat down next to the body, and I was in the room myself. And I was kind of upset because she was one of my favorite aunts, and I'd always loved her. And I was like, "Oh, I'm really sad." And next thing, someone just touched my shoulder, and she went, "Rosemary, don't cry. I'm still here." And she was sitting on the bed right next to me. And I was like, "Oh my God," like freaking out. I run out of the room, and I run into the living room, and I'm sitting, all my aunts are all sitting around drinking tea and everything. "Auntie Daisy's alive. She's alive. She's alive." And they're like, "What? She just talked to me. She just touched me on the shoulder." My mom's like, "Oh my God, why did she say that?" But they knew, because everybody pretty much my dad's side of the family were all psychic. We just never talked about it, but I was the first to really kind of start pushing the boundaries there, and I really pushed them that day. And my mom's like, "Come on." She dragged me out the door and took me down and says, "We need to go. We need to leave now." So, and after that, she kind of warned me, "Don't tell people when you see people around you that have died." And I says, "Well, why not?" She says, "Because it freaks people out, So it started very young with me, and I pretty much went through most of my life with my intuition intact, you know what I mean? And I didn't let anything interfere with it. I always used my intuition for everything,
And do you let the spirit get inside you? Because I've heard some people are channeling, but like don't have any memory of what their channel, because their conscience it's in another place. Is it the way you doing your mediumship?
Yeah, I used to do, when I first started doing spirit talk years ago, I used to let the spirits come into my body and speak through me. And literally my body would kind of shift and change a little bit. And I would act out that person's personality. I'd be jumping up and down, and they'd be, "That's just my mom's antic or my sister's antics." That's how they would express themselves. And I did this, and then I would hug the people in the audience. Well, the thing is that I noticed after I did that, I was completely wiped out. And I remember one time my ex-husband, Jim, had to carry me off the stage, literally carry me to the hotel room upstairs. And I was like, I was like someone that was drugged. And I was so out of it. And I was like, as soon as I'm done, I really need to eat something like right away, So, yeah. And I said to him, "I'll go upstairs. I was like, tell everybody I'll be back down in 20 minutes because people were waiting around to see me afterwards. I said, I'll be back. I got upstairs. I literally got myself in the bathtub. I wet my head, hair, everything. I cleared my body, cleared my energy field. Boom, I was right back in my body again. And when I came down with my hair wet. I didn't care. I didn't care what I looked like. You know what I mean? Take me as you find me. That's it. You know, it's my personality. Well, anyway, I come down and people are like, wow, that was amazing. You said this. She said I had no memory of anything, nothing whatsoever. Some of the things that would come through were pretty powerful. And one time I had this one woman's ex-husband come through, and it was kind of funny situation. He was like, well, my wife is in the audience and she is with her new husband, Bill. And I went, okay. It goes, tell her I'm here. My name is Tom. And it says, and I got decapitated in a car crash. And I looked at him and I went, I cannot say that. He goes, oh yeah, you can. I went, oh no, I can't. And I kind of pull the boundaries and draw the boundaries at some things I'm going to say. I went, I am not saying that. And he goes, just say it. He says, she'll be okay with it. I went, I'm not saying that. And I just said, okay, this is a man called Tom. I says, and he's asking for a lady in the audience who's with her new husband, Bill. I can't remember the lady's name for the life of me. But anyway, this was a time when I didn't allow him to fully come into my body. I had him stand to the side. And the reason I remember this is because I didn't have them take over my body. I had them stand to the side. So it was kind of cool because he's telling me this and I'm like, okay, he's telling me to tell you something. She's like, well, what is it? And I'm like, I don't really want to say it because I think it's pretty graphic. She's, oh, no, just say it. I says, does this mean something to you? I run my hand across my neck like this. And she's like, oh my God, yes. She says, just say it. And I went, he said he was decapitated in a car crash in the audience. She went, ah. And I was like, yeah. And she goes, yeah, that's true. That's true. I says, he wants you to know he brought your new husband, Bill, to you and he's really happy for you. And that was it. That was the end of the message. Boom, just like that. Short and sweet. But the main two things were, he gave the name of the new husband. He gave his own name. I can't remember if he gave her name. I don't remember that. I don't think he gave her name. But he also said what he died with and how he passed. You know what I mean? So it was like click, click. So I get that a lot. But the thing is that I feel it in my body. If they're in my body, I will feel what they pass with. And if they get real close to me, stand real close to me, I can feel it as well. So I get really exhausted afterwards. Everyone does, every medium does. You know what I mean? So it's really important to shift your energy right afterwards. That's why I go home, get right in the shower right away and clear myself and do my prayers. And it doesn't matter how much you do white light and everything around you. On some level or another, you're still taking some of that energy in your body. So you've got to go home, you got to clear it, you got to cleanse it, and you got to get it out of your lifeline or it will make you sick, you know?
Did that happen to you that you did carry like the physical pain because you say like you felt the injury? So does that induce physical pain? Have you had like some story like that?
I actually have a lot of stories, but I've carried a lot of physical pain from other people in my body. And I realized, you know, when I was a kid growing up, every time a friend said to me, oh, I have a sore knee, I'm like, yeah, I've got a sore knee as well. They say, I've got a sore neck, or a sore back. I'm like, I do too. And like, how come you've always got everything I've got? You're a hypochondriac, they used to say to me. And I'm like, no, I really feel pain in my neck. And I realized it was years later that I really was physically picking up the pain from other people. I didn't realize that until I was in my late 20s. I was like, what the hell is going on here? You know? So it was really kind of funny, you know, but also pretty painful. You know what I mean? To go through your life. The amount of times that I've went to doctors, and I know there's a lot of people out there just like me. You've went to the doctor and said, I think I've got chronic fatigue. I think I've got fibromyalgia. I think I've got this. I think I've got that. And then the doctors go, can't diagnose you. It doesn't look, all the tests are coming back clear. We don't know what's going on with you. I have so many clients that come to me with the same story over and over and over and over and over again. And when I show them how to shift their energies, oh my goodness. I had one lady who came to me, it was funny. She came to me, it's kind of funny, but kind of not funny, but anyway, she came to me and she had fibromyalgia. I worked on her, I shifted her energy, I cleared everything out of her body, sent her home, showed her how to do it herself, showed her how to clear her house, clear energy, everything. And 3 days later, her husband calls me and he says, what did you do to my wife? Oh my God, she was bedridden for 6 months, now she's climbing all over the top of me kind of thing, you know? And he goes, and I think I've got what she's got because I'm feeling a lot of pain in my body. So I think I need to come and see you. I says, okay, so come on and see me. So he came to see me. And when he lay down on my table, I started pulling energy out of his body. I says, you know, you don't have what your wife has. I says, for years, your wife has been laying next to you in bed, been pulling a lot of your energy, the negative stuff, out of your body into her body. I says, but now that she's set in her space and taking back control of her life and not allowing your energy into her energy field, I says, what's happening is she is now bouncing your own energy back at you. I said, so you're now feeling your own energy that affects other people in your body, and that's why you're feeling sick. I said, so you need to clear yourself all of the time. So I had to teach him how to clear himself. And he was like, wow. So he called me a few days later, goes, wow, it really does make a difference. So unfortunately, we don't realize that when we're in relationships with partners, how their energy field can affect our energy field, you know?
Oh yeah, yeah, that sounds familiar to me. I can recognize some pattern in some friend, you know, how much one is taking care of the problem of the other. And I see like, I would like to know like how, what is your favorite like aspect of being psychic? Because it's like you're going through like kind of very an emotional roller coaster doing that, you know, being in the body of someone. So I understand it's exhausting, but what is your favorite part? Because you can have really probably some big up.
You know, I think for me, the favorite part of doing my work is helping people heal. Because every time I make a connection with someone that is passed over, I can honestly say that that person that I work with, they go away feeling some sense of joy. They're not grieving as hard as they were grieving before. And they feel less disturbed by the passing of that person, because when they realize that that person is in spirit, and I can explain to them exactly where they are and what space they're in and what they're doing, and I can share that information with them, they get a sense of peace in their heart. Then they start to heal. They actually physically start to heal from the moment they walk through my door, and by the time they walk out an hour later or 2 hours later. And I've had many people come back to me years later and say, oh my God, you know, you turned my life around. Still, even to this day, I have so many people who tell me that. And to me, that's the thing that I enjoy the most, is doing that work, is helping people and really seeing them go out with a smile on their face, and they're crying with joyful tears because they're remembering the good moments and not all the sad stuff. You know what I mean? Because the spirit world has a sense of humor. That's the one thing that I love. When I'm on stage, I will act out that person's sense of humor, and everybody seems to think it's all somber and everything. When the person goes to the other side, it's like they don't have a sense of humor anymore. All of a sudden, they lost a sense of humor. All of a sudden, they lost doing pranks and things. I'm like, oh hell no! They tend to get more on top of it and the other side, and tend to be playing more pranks on us from there to here, you know, kind of thing. So like, no, be prepared for them messing with you, because they like to come in and kind of mess every now and again, you know, just to kind of see what kind of reaction they can get out of you, you know. So, and then when I share that information with someone, say, well, your loved one did this and this, and they're like, oh yeah, I remember that happened last week, you know. I loved it when a lady and her daughter came to see me, or granddaughter came to see me about a week ago to the house. They came up to my office here, and they when they came through the door, the girl's father had passed over, and it was a very tragic event. And here I am talking with this young girl and the mother, and all of a sudden the dad's there talking in my ear. And the conversation they were having driving up the canyon in the car, he repeated verbatim to them through me. And they were like, oh my God, we just talked about that in the car coming up the mountain. I says, he just wanted to let you know he was driving up the mountain with you in the car. He was coming in with you. So, because they're usually attached to the people that they love, and they come in with them, they're still attached in their energy field, you know. So that's when we have to help them, those spirits transition all the way to the spirit world. Because some people come to me and say, 2 days or a week after someone passes over, I want to connect with my dad, I want to connect with my mom, blah blah blah. And I'm like, they may not be all the way in the light yet. They may still be in your space. And you have to cut the cords with them and release them to the universe with love and light, and breathe them out of your physical, spiritual, mental, and emotional bodies, your cells, your cellular memory, your DNA. Because when you do that and you free the spirit up, it makes it easier to communicate. You come back in quicker and faster. You know what I mean? So instead, because in the spirit world, it can take anything from 2 days to 2 years for those family members to get through to a person, depending on if anyone's cut ties or not, you know. So you have to educate them. You have to educate them what to do. This is what you need to do. The next time you come see me, maybe we'll have a better conversation, or maybe you'll have a direct conversation with them yourself. I tell them how to listen out for them when they're coming in and how to pay attention, you know. So it's kind of cool.
So how will you say, what is a good reading for you?
You know, I would say probably all my readings are always good for me and good for whoever I'm reading for. And I don't mean that coming from ego. I just mean it that I always get a lot of joy and a lot of delight out of helping people. So they're all very unique in their own different ways. I do have some that really stick out in the forefront with me, you know, and especially when you're dealing with children. For me, you know, I think the worst thing could ever happen to a mother or a father is to lose a child first. So when I work with parents that have lost kids, it's amazing. And one that does stick out with me was this lady that came to me. Her son died from a drug overdose, and she came in to see me. And I started describing her son. I said, he's got dark hair and it's down over his eyes here. It's all kind of black. I says, but I don't think that was the original color of hair. I said, it might have been red or orangish kind of color. Sure enough, it was. And I says, and he's a good looking kid. I says, and he has earrings and he has a kind of a nose ring thing. She goes, yeah. And then she pulls up this sleeve and she had a tattoo of her son on her arm. And here was and so he died under kind of difficult circumstances, you know what I mean? And so it was good for this kid to come in and let his mom know he was okay and everything. And I talked to her about cutting cords with him to free his spirit to go all the way into the light. And we did some of that work. Not even 15 minutes after that session, when she left the house, another woman came to see me, and the other woman sat down and I was reading for her. And this boy had not left yet. He was still sticking around. And I'm like, you need to leave now because I'm doing something with someone else. It goes, no, I need to give her a message as well. And I went, why? You don't know this person? He goes, I do know her. But both women did not know they were coming to see me in the same day. They didn't know each other well. Their kids knew each other. They went to school together. And he told me that the girl was doing ecstasy and I needed to tell the mother. So I told the mother, I've got a young man here, and I described him. She goes, oh, that sounds like the young boy that died at our school not that long ago. I says, his mother just left. She went, oh my goodness. And I said, he's got a message for you about your daughter. You need to confront your daughter. Your daughter's doing ecstasy and he's worried about your daughter. She went home that night and confronted her daughter, and sure enough, the girl was. And she's not doing it now, obviously. But wow, to get that message coming from another, that was pretty profound for me. The mother does some amazing stuff now. She works throughout the schools, you know. She was in Colorado, now she's in Arizona, and or New Mexico, somewhere like that. And she's working through the schools, talking to kids about drugs and ecstasy, you know. He's like, tell my mom she needs to go out there. And I mean, the mother was devastated when she lost her son. She didn't have a purpose. I mean, she had other kids, but she felt she didn't have a purpose anymore. What am I going to do without my son? I says, you can help by getting the word out there about ecstasy and how it affects kids. I says, because look what it did to your son. So she does. She travels around the schools now talking about it, which is really cool, you know.
Oh yeah, well, it's a crazy story. Honestly, it's just like big coincidence, and that made me wonder if you felt a difference in the energy according to the people, to the way people die. You know, it's like, do you feel like some difficulty for the soul to pass to another level according to the feeling where they were at the moment they died?
Yeah, you know, there's different stages that they go through. You know, I mean, obviously, there's especially people that commit suicide or people that are murdered. That can be really, really difficult, you know, because those spirits are just, there's a lot of trauma and a lot of drama there, you know, and I'll feel that. I feel that in my physical body. And my goal is to communicate with them, talk to them, and help them move through that and release it, and talk to them about how to go closer to the light and how to release that stuff from the body. And a lot of it comes down to forgiveness. The one thing that I've learned with what I've been doing over the years with my work is that you've got to go through this life, you've got to forgive people, and you've got to look at when you transition over, and I know this because I've been to the other side and back again, you look at your life, you look at what you could have done, what you should have done, what you did do. You look at what you could have said, what you should have said, and what you did say. Then you have to forgive yourself and forgive others. There's no one there to judge us when we go to the other side. The only person that judges ourselves harshly is ourselves. So we have to forgive ourselves before we can go all the way into the light. So I tell people, start doing it now before you go to the pearly gates, you know. Start looking, go through your life, look at your past relationships, past friendships, whatever. I mean, my friends get surprised that I'm still friends with my ex-husband. You know what I mean? And I have other people that I'm still, you know, that have maybe not been the best of friends, but I forgive them, I let go, I cut the cords, and I'm done, and that's it. I move on, you know. And I've learned that because I know when I go next time into the light, I don't have to do that work. I don't have to do it when I get there. You know, I can go straight into the light and not get stuck in the middle somewhere, you know. And that space you get stuck in the middle, it's a beautiful space to go to. For me, it's like, the way I could describe it, it's like a hospital ward and a sea of beds as far as the eye can see in each direction. No matter where you go, it's just on and on and on. It's endless. And you just see these people sitting up and smiling at you. They lay back down. And you lay there until you process everything. And when you look up, it's endless. It just goes up and up and up and up. And it's amazing. And what I felt when I was in that space was love. That was the highest vibration I felt. I was surrounded by love. And it was like that ultimate love we go through our lives seeking, all of our lives. Like, oh, we've got to have our soulmate to complete us. I believe you got to be complete within your own being. And that when you draw someone into your life, you draw them into your life to enhance your life, not to complete you as a person, you know? So I've learned a lot of lessons over the years. And so I look at that, and then I look around me. And when we were communicating in that space, when I was in that space, everything was telepathic. It was all with our mind. You know what I mean? We were communicating with our minds. And it was pretty awesome. And then all of a sudden I'm back in my body, doctor over the top of me with paddles. And I'm like, oh, don't hit me with those paddles. That's going to hurt, you know? And my kid was only 3 days old at the time. It was just 3 days after I had my child that happened. I had anaphylactic shock. I'm allergic to Benadryl. You know, they gave me Benadryl to knock me out because I'm allergic to all medicines. They put morphine in my system, and it was like ding, 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 a pinball on a pinball machine. I was bouncing off the walls. Doctor's like, we need to knock her out. She hasn't slept for 3 days. Give her some Benadryl and knock her out. Then he comes running into the nurse. What did you give her? Oh, Benadryl. Well, that shouldn't do that. And they had to give me an EpiPen to bring me out. Usually they give, you know, Benadryl to people to help them, you know. So
it's crazy. So that was your first near-death experience.
No, that was my last. That was my last one. I had a few. I've had 3 near-death experiences and about 9 close calls. We could maybe save that for another show.
Well, you know, it just always bring a lot of curiosity because it's yeah, it seems like so real. I assume, you know, when you do near-death experience, to see. I was wondering if you felt the same thing every time. If but we can keep that for another show if you like.
Actually, you pretty much go through the same experience every time. The only difference that I noticed was my physical human body that I was looking at. Because when I was looking down at my body, the first time happened when I was a kid, you know, and I just saw this waif of a child laying on the bed, and I'm thinking, oh my God, what an ugly looking kid. I remember looking at myself and thinking I looked really ugly, you know, and not realizing it was myself I was looking at, you know, like I just was like all rolled up in the bed, you know. I had silent pneumonia and I was dying from it, you know. But and I was very, very, but spirit never took me then. They told me I needed to go back. And I'm like, you're not sending me back down there. They're like, oh yeah, you have to go back. And it was really after that I realized I had a bigger purpose for being here when they sent me back. It was like, I was in a wheelchair for like nearly 6 months. I was in a wheelchair when I was really, really sick the first time, you know. And I have a book called, a book that I put out years ago. I'm actually rewriting the book right now, and it'll come out next year. And I'm rewriting a lot of the stories and putting in a lot of the funny stuff, some of the sad stuff, and some of the traumatic stuff, because I think people really relate to a lot of my life stories. And that's how I teach, you know, when I'm teaching my workshops, my classes, I use myself as an example. I say, look, I've done this, don't do it. It doesn't work, you know. I've tried it, and avoid that if you can, you know. Yeah. So when I'm teaching, I try to teach by example, you know. Don't make the same mistake I make, you know. Just avoid that if you can. Avoid it like the plague, you know. And I've learned like that. My students love it when I teach that way because they like the stories that I tell when I'm teaching my workshops and my classes, you know. Mm-hmm. And
so I'm all sorry to yes. I was wondering, what is the subject of your workshop and what is the format? Do you see people in live? Is it group work? How long does it last?
I do group work, and I do classes from 8 people to 30 people in a group, and sometimes more depending. And I teach people how to heal themselves. I work with healers, teaching them how to keep their vibration up, because I'm like, you know, I'm a great believer as a healer, you should never let anyone bigger than yourself work on you, because it means they've got more crap going on in their bodies than you have. So, but when I'm in a class situation, I make everybody work on everybody, because I want them to feel what it feels like when they feel someone else's energy in their body. So I make them all different shapes and sizes, all working each other. And someone might be really slender and clean and energy wise, or they may not be, because they could be skinny and still have a lot of energy locked in their body as well. But I make them work on each other. And what I've noticed in the class is that a lot of people tend to mirror reflect each other when they end up working together. Because my guy Joshua will come in and go, okay, have this person work with this person and this person work with this person. And when he does that afterwards, a lot of past life stuff comes up in the classes. They get to work through their karma and everything in the workshops. And they get to heal. They get to heal at a cellular level. And they'll learn how to develop their abilities. They'll learn how to communicate with spirit. They'll learn how to listen to their guides and their angels. They'll learn how to communicate with family members and friends. They'll learn how to read for other people and learn how to protect themselves properly. And then I have my workshop is 4 levels. I have 4 levels of that. And I have a brand new one that's just come out that I'm doing. It's called, it's a healing grief retreat that I'm doing in August this year. And I'm doing it here in Colorado at the YMCA of the Rockies here, one of the, and it's for families that are healing from grief, families that are don't know how to deal with it. Because I've worked with a, I won't say the name of the corporation, but I work with a major corporation where I've gone in and worked with their therapists, and I've taught 45 of their therapists my techniques of tapping energy out of the body and that helps with stress, anxiety, addictions, letting go of energy and stuff like that. So I've been doing this now for the last few years. This is really, really powerful stuff. So the healing grief, I find when you can get a group of people sitting down that are all going through the same thing together, grieving, it's not like a 12-step program. It's more than that. We sit around, we talk about what's going on with them personally in their lives, how they felt when they lost their family members. And then we talk about where the family members are at now. And by the time they're done with the healing grief retreat and they go away with this sense of completion. I'm feeling better. I'm feeling so much better now. You know what I mean? And sometimes people will come to my workshops just because they have to let go of people and cut cords with people. I had 2 ladies come to one of my workshops, and one of the sisters was dying from cancer, and it was so sad. And everybody in the class felt it. And the other sister was like, I want you to heal my sister. I says, I can't. She's stage 4 cancer. She's, you know, and it's not up to me to heal her. She has to heal herself. You know what I mean? I said, I can help with her journey and her passing. And that's when the sister got it, because in the class we had to have the sister cut the cords with her other sister. And the sister passed a month later. And she came to me the night she passed. She came through right away because I had them cut cords beforehand. So it was easier for her to communicate with us. And she came in that night, and I called the husband the next morning, and he says, yeah, she passed last night. I says, at 10:17. He goes, yeah. I was like, I thought so. Yeah. I said, she came to me last night. She has a message for you. And I just gave the message to him. And he went, well, thank you so much, you know. But I think it was very devastating for the sister, because the sister didn't want to lose her sister. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, when we're in classes and workshops, this stuff comes up. We have to work through our stuff, everybody. And it's a 2-day weekend, that one. But the grief one, the healing grief retreat, is a 5-day workshop. And it goes, yeah, Sunday through Thursday. Yeah. So, and that's in August. I think it's the 3rd week in August I'm doing that. So, and that's going to be a pretty big one. And I'm getting so many people asking me to do it that I've got to do it. You know what I mean? And I have another major corporation, a hospital out of another state that's possibly want me to go in and start working with their therapists as well now, because they heard that what I did with this other hospital. So I feel there's a lot of people that are going into the hospitals and teaching Reiki and everything, but I find personally, I teach Reiki, I'm a Reiki master, but what I've learned with Reiki is there's a lot missing from Reiki, and part of that is the water rites, the water rituals, the clearings and cleansings that people are not doing. They think they're invincible and they can just, you know, put their hands on someone and spirit's just going to take it out of their body. I'm like, they can't do it. You're in a physical form in this world. You've got to take care of yourself. You can't expect them to do it for you all of the time. You know what I mean? So I've learned that from my guy, Josh, because he's kicked my butt so many times, like, get your butt in the shower and clear yourself, you know? And that's after that retreat. I don't know if anybody has heard of spontaneous combustion and not what that is. I remember going into the Michael Collins suite and laying down. I was so exhausted after that class. And I remember calling my ex-husband and saying, honey, I'm going to stay at the retreat tonight. I'll come home in the morning. I'm really tired. He goes, okay, make sure you get in the shower. I says, I will. I lay down on the bed, close my eyes for a few minutes. I could hear my guide in my ear going, Rosemary, get in the shower. And I'm like, oh, give me 5 minutes, Joshua, just 5 minutes. He's like, no, get in the shower. So I kind of dozed off a little bit, and I woke up and I could smell this smell of burning flesh. And I was like, where's that smell coming from? So I get up and I'm walking all around my retreat, 3,000 square foot retreat, walking everywhere, trying to find where the smell is coming from. Couldn't find it. I lay back down on my bed and I kind of go like this and put my arm up like this. And I go, oh my God, that's coming off my own body. And my guy was like, get your butt in the shower right now. So I'm in the shower and I'm stripping off, and he's like, say, I am light, I'm one for the light is within me, and keep saying it and keep pulling energy out of your lifeline, your navel, and send it out to the universe with love and light. And I could feel like a metallic taste in my mouth, like as if blood was running in my mouth. And I was like, oh, what is going on? He says, you almost spontaneously combusted because you've taken so much energy in over the last few months and you've not fully cleared yourself the way you should be properly. You've got to clear yourself properly. He says, and you just had a class with 20+ people in it. He says, and here you are. After class, you're laying down when you should have went straight to the shower and cleared yourself right away as soon as everybody left, you know? So that was a shake up for me and a wake up call. What, oh God, as a healer, I can spontaneously combust. I don't want that happening, you know? Wow. So I really kicked my students' butts about that, about clearing themselves, cleansing themselves. I says, there's stories out there about people spontaneously combusting in their bed. Part of a foot left or part of a toe left behind or something, and that's it. And the rest of the house is not on fire. It's just scorch marks. And that's what my guy Joshua said. It's a buildup of energy in our bodies. And when it gets to a point, a certain degree, I think it's like 5,000 degrees, we just go like that. And I remember having a fever that afternoon. I remember feeling really, really, really hot. You know what I mean? But not to the point where it was like 102 degrees. I remember at one point sticking the thermometer in my mouth and it only showed 97.6, which was normal, you know. But I felt hot, but yet my temperature was showing normal. So I think you just have to trust your own body and trust your instincts and do what's right, you know. That's what I feel anyway. So it's kind of cool though.
You make me want to take a shower right now, you know.
Yeah, I know. You're like, honey, before we go to bed, getting in the shower. The thing is to remember, when you have a shower late at night, sometimes if you're under the shower too long, you overstimulate the blood, you know, and get it really flowing, and you get your energy up so high that you can't sleep. So I always recommend have a shower maybe around your dinner. If you want to do it before your dinner, all the better. I call it the Celtic ladies' intuitive diets, because if you shift your energy before you eat food, and then you eat the food and you bless the food before you eat it and shift the energy of the food, then the food goes into the body and it goes to the parts of the body it needs to nourish, and it doesn't settle at your belly button, your lifeline, and then you don't put the weight on, you know. That's what everybody always asks me, how come you don't put weight on? And I'm like, I clear myself all the time, you know. I really work really hard at it, and I take care of myself, and I watch what I eat, and I shift the energy of my food, I shift the energy of my water. This is all stuff I teach all the time. It's become part of my life, my everyday life. I wouldn't say it's OCDC stuff or anything like that. It's nothing like that. I've just learned that I need to keep my vibration up in order to do that. I can't have negative people around me. I can't be around a lot of negative people for any length of time. Very, very short periods of time. I've got to separate my energy from their energy, you know. I just realize that it affects me on some level or another. And as soon as I get home, I'm in the shower. I've shifted my energy, you know. And I've taught my kid to do that as well. My kid really feels the difference. My kid's in New York right now modeling. And my kid's like, oh, New York, Mom, the energy out here. I mean, I know, honey, now you know why we don't live in a big city. He's like, I know, help me. And I'm like, you got to help yourself, get your butt in the shower, you know. So it's kind of cool. Did we have any questions come in today?
Oh, there's a lot of questions. I think there's a lot of questions about people asking questions about their personal things. People saying, thank you, Rosemary. I love the insight about our kiddos. Perfect advice. I'm excited to see you here. So people are really happy, and some people are asking, which was not the theme of the day, asking a personal question on I feel negativity inside me. So I think people are gonna have also some reply to that. The shower tips will definitely can help. And yeah, and think about the grandma or people who have passed, and or trying to find peace also. People asking, how can I find peace in my life? So
and a lot of that is sitting down and talking with someone like myself, you know, and just having that 1 hour of someone putting you on a table and helping you cut the cords with that person and releasing them to the light, because it really, and then teaching you how to communicate, teaching you how to listen to spirit. You know, I tell people, if you get those high-pitched ringing tones in your ears, don't assume it's tinnitus, because it's not always tinnitus. When you get those tones in your ears, just close your eyes for a few seconds and just say, I acknowledge you, who's there? And the first thing that pops into your head, usually the messages start coming in telepathically to start with. And then we build on that, and then over the years, you start to actually physically hear them talking to you, you know? But that's what I teach my students when I'm doing this. And I mean, we'll be doing a lot more of this. And there will be times where I will give and do stuff on the air a couple of times. But this time, I'm not doing messages on the air, mainly because we just want you to stay focused on why we're doing this. I want this TV show to be an educational TV show. I want it to be something where people can know every week I can go and watch this either live, or I can go to YouTube and it'll be uploaded and I can watch it later tonight. And it won't be just me, because I've got some incredible people, yourself included, in my organization, amazing healers, amazing psychics and mediums, intuitives, life coaches, life consultants, astrologers, numerologists. I've got them all in my organization. Not all of them, but I've got some of the best out there. And we've got more and more coming on board right now. It's growing so fast. And I think it's supposed to grow. And I think we're supposed to have all these people come together. That's what I feel. And it's pretty powerful. It's pretty powerful to sit back and watch this happening, watch it growing and watch it manifesting. And it's exciting, you know. And I want to use this outlet as a place where each and every one of them can go on there and talk about their experiences, talk about how they got to where they are in their lives and why they're now doing the spiritual work and the psychic work, because I think that's important. Then people that are watching go, well, I'm not crazy. I'm not alone. There are other people out there that do what I do. I want us to share our stories. The stories are the most important thing. It's not about me getting out there and just doing readings for people. It's about me actually sharing these stories and saying, hey, this happened to me. Did it happen to you? And then people don't think they're going crazy. They don't think they're alone. I don't want people to feel alone out there. And there's a lot of people that feel that, a lot of kids especially. The younger generation are having such difficulties right now because they're so empathic. They're so connected to spirit and they don't know how to deal with it, you know. So I wrote a book called Children of Our Future, where we talk about, where I talk about how to help your kids. And it's a self-help guide for parents to help their teenagers and their kids. So they've got the basics. It's a basic book. It's very easy to read. You flip through it, whatever, and you can go to whatever chapter you want to, and you can read it and go, oh, so this is what's going on with my kid. You know what I mean? So, and that's a lot of parents sometimes just jump the gun and just think, oh, my kid's psychotic and let's put my kid on some drugs. It's not always the case, you know. Sometimes kids are actually hearing people talking to them in its spirit. And the negative stuff may come in because if you've got parents that are sitting around doing drugs or whatever else, they're opening those doorways, those attachments that come in and attach to their kids, and they're not being responsible by doing that. So, like I say, it's all about education. It's all about teaching. So Global Psychics and Healers, American, Canadian, UK Association of Psychics and Healers is all about education. We want to educate the public. That's it.
Well, I'm looking forward to hear more advice and tips from everybody in the association. Thank you very much for your time today. Thank you for your enthusiasm. And just to say that next week we have we have Rob Schegel that's gonna come to make an interview with me and give us advice on his energy, intuitive, and spiritual healing that he's doing. So I'm looking forward to that. And
Ron Schlegel. His name is Ron. Yes, sorry.
Oh, I've put Rob. Ron Schlegel. Sorry for that. I'm sorry already for Ron. And yeah, if you want to have a last word, Rosemary.
Yeah, thank you everyone for listening in today. And I really do hope you stay tuned with us. I won't be on every week, but there will be some weeks where I'll be coming in and I'll be hosting this show with some people, and then there'll be other weeks where Karen will be hosting. So we'll both be out there, and there'll be some times where I'll just come on and I'll upload some videos and I'll talk about stuff that are just educational for you guys, and I'll put it out there so that you have it, because this is stuff that has to be shared with the world, I feel. And I feel it's, with what I've learned, it's making me feel like I'm a better person, health-wise and energy-wise. And I want to teach that to others. I want to help others. I want to help everybody else grow and be more connected to who they really truly are, their true authentic selves. Okay, thank you so much, everybody. We love you, and we look forward to seeing you guys next week, next Tuesday afternoon at 2 p.m. Colorado time. That would be 4 p.m. New York time, and that would be 1 p.m. California time. And I think the rest, you could figure the rest of that out. Oh, and British Standard Time, 9 p.m. at night. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.